Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, it's another day of crime in South Africa. The gangster state, run by the ANC mafia. Is it any surprise, really? Is it any surprise? I have had so many emails today from people who've shared with me information about carjackings, smash and grabs, hijacking of people. And that's just people on the road in their cars. It's so prolific now that the media don't bother reporting about it unless it is someone who has a high profile. And just yesterday, two people with high profiles had incidents in which they had, in one case, Agrisi, you know, the guy who was involved with Basasa, who let all the cats out of the bag. Well, let's see what happened to him yesterday. And I've got a video which you can watch where you can actually see this happen. That'll follow after this intro. Former Basasa Chief Operations Officer Angelo Agrisi was held up at gunpoint at a Johannesburg petrol station on Thursday. He must have thought this was a hit squad coming to finish him off, because being involved with, the state capture situation. Wow, he must have absolutely freaked out. Video footage of the incident, which was shared on social media, shows two armed men approaching the window of Agrisi's BMW shortly after he opened his petrol cap to fill up the car. The petrol attendant runs for safety as the men approach. The driver of the car was Agrisi, and that the incident took place on William Nicol Drive in Johannesburg at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was also confirmed that a bag containing notes and personal effects were taken. The video shows the two robbers making off with a bag and getting into another vehicle. Agrisi starts driving off, but then stops and reverses to the petrol pump. The visibly stunned former Basasa executive gets out of the vehicle shaking his head. The video is about 2 meters long. Agrisi confirmed the incident, but would not comment further. So, there's one high-profile person. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll show you that video first, and then we'll get on to a couple of other things that happened yesterday. And it just shows how chaotic South Africa has become. And as I mentioned before, the only reason you're hearing about this is because of the high profile of this person. This happens all over South Africa all the time. Okay, here we go.
Are you gonna send me?
Okay, there you saw it. This is the gangster state called South Africa. Perfect for tourists who want to live on the edge. Okay, moving on to Durban, Hatchie Pinetown. Police are hunting for suspects who kidnapped a 40-year-old Durban businesswoman on Thursday evening. In a statement released by Reaction Unit South Africa, Westville, residents Sandra Munsami was kidnapped from her black Range Rover after being forced off the road by 3 vehicles on Stapleton Road in Pinetown at about 6:30 p.m. Munsami is the youngest daughter of Punsami and Lachi Naika, who run the multi-million logistics company Crossmore Transport with their 2 sons Alvin and Indiran. Moonsamy, a mother of two, worked at the family business in the finance department. According to Reaction Unit SA, the vehicle driver's side glass had 2 bullet holes and left passenger window was smashed in. According to a witness, several males in a silver VW Golf, a white hatchback BMW and a Bucky forced the businesswoman off the road. They then fired shots at the driver's window when she locked herself in. Other suspects damaged the left window, but the butt of a firearm and forced her out. She was then pushed into a vehicle and driven away. A passing security vehicle attempted to follow the suspects but was fired upon. The victim's handbag and phone were left at the scene. The Westville resident has not been seen of since. Reaction officers and SAPS members are following up on the leads, the statement said. A friend said the family was traumatized. Imagine how that poor woman would be feeling. I mean, this is South African. And the next thing you're going to have is a phone call. We want R1 million or your daughter dies. That's what's going to come next. They know exactly who they were targeting. This is a complete hostage situation. And they say police didn't respond to inquiries. You know, you aren't safe in South Africa. If you're a business person, you have a huge target on your back because the gangsters want to take you hostage and then make demands for monetary compensation to let you go. And if you're lucky, they will let you go. You know, it is quite extraordinary what's going on in South Africa. It's quite extraordinary. And again, as I said earlier, this is happening all over South Africa all the time, 24/7. There's no kind of period where they have a break. No, it's happening the whole time. What about the farms? I'm going to show you 2 charts that someone sent me yesterday, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten who it was, and I've got so many emails from people about this subject. Shout out to all of you. Thank you, guys. We need to get this information out there. So here come the 2 charts about farm murders in South Africa. It's quite extraordinary, but it paints a very, very disturbing picture. Here they come. Okay, you can see how absolutely awful the situation is. But one, Hippo Eyes, Cyril Ramaphosa, would have you believe that there are no white farm murders in South Africa. No. Diddly squat, nothing. No. That's all hocus pocus that you saw on those charts. Well, I've got a message for Hippo Eyes, and that is that you're a liar, a bald-faced liar. And there's one thing that I do have to agree with Julius Malema, and that is that Hippo Eyes is so politically expedient with his new cabinet. You know, he's covering his own ass, and he's got so many crooks in there, and they're all going to be doing the same thing for the next 5 years. It is quite disgusting. Now, let's get back to the farm situation, the farm murders. I had a very, very interesting email from Timothy. Timothy, you know who you are. And like with a lot of your emails, so I just sort of keep them in the back of my mind, and then when they become relevant, I say, whoa, this is a time we should actually have a discussion about this. Now, this email was sent to me a day or 2 ago, and Timothy writes, firearms aren't always the best weapon for protection. A LRAD, now I'd never heard of a LRAD before, it's LRAD, can keep crowds away by using intensive directed sound which can permanently damage hearing and the nervous system that is likened to being shell-shocked. LRAD are military-grade weapons that have export restrictions from the US. The sound waves can be so intense at close range that clothing and hats can be blown off a person and can be focused directionally so that the equipment operator is not exposed to hearing damage. Now, Obviously, you don't want a military-grade LRAD, but I'm sure this long-range acoustic device is available to private people for self-defense. Now, what a fantastic thing for someone to have, if it's like a gun or an instrument like that. If you see people coming towards you with a gun in a car, you just point this thing and you fire it off, and they will be totally incapacitated, just like that. What an amazing! And you don't kill them. All you're doing is defending yourself, and it just incapacitates them. And for farmers, having an LRAD, you hear the guys outside, you just point it, fire it off, and they're incapacitated, just like that. I'm just putting this out here. I'm sure there's some people who listen to this channel who will say, whoa, I want to investigate this. And look, please, I will put my email address down below. If you find something that can be used by people in a portable device that can be easily used by people that uses this technology, let's hear about it. I think this is a winner. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell to get the updates, and have a great evening. Bye for now.
You may be shot if you enter this area illegally.
That is super
You are
loud.
released.
This is the first time any media organization has gotten a look at this model. It's brand new. And it's a pretty cool concept. There's a power source, an amplifier, and a set of speakers that put out more sound, believe it or not, than the average rock concert. Really. It's so loud because unlike a normal speaker that sends its sound out in widening waves like when a pebble hits a pond, the LRAD is able to focus its sound, basically shooting a narrow beam of it at whatever it wants. So how would it be used to secure the border? Look how far away the LRAD unit is. The technology is pretty amazing. I'd say we're about a half a mile away. And let's say we're a couple of people crossing the open desert trying to get into the U.S. And all of a sudden, we hear this. Makes it very unpleasant. The piercing noise acts as a deterrent, and the LRAD is also able to transmit amazingly clear messages over long distances. Listen.
You are in a restricted area. Do not move.
You can talk to somebody that's a mile away and tell them, do not continue, to approach in this direction. And if they continue, you're pretty much assured that they heard and understood everything.
Powerful cameras and infrared sensors will be used to detect the border crossers. Then the LRAD units could be trained on those crossers remotely. With each mile of border fence costing about $16 million, putting a $90,000 LRAD unit on every mile of rural border sounds pretty cost effective.